Okay, everyone, welcome to the midweek market wrap up. For those who are new to the channel or new to the email, welcome. What we do is periodically throughout the week, if I see a sector or a stock or something that's interesting, I'll send a quick shot about that. But on Wednesdays and on Fridays or the weekend, we take a step back. We have a few days of data to play with. We take a look at the overall market, see what's going on there. So that's what we'll be doing today. As always, if you're not signed up to the email list, definitely do that. You get the screenshots and access to my watch list and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you just make sure that I email this video. I don't spam you with anything. It's just another way for me to get in contact with you. So make sure you go to statsedgetrading.com and sign up for that there. So speaking of, here's the website right here. So, and right here, you can just put in your email address. You can sign up right there. If you're interested in trade ideas, you can use StatsEdge25 actually for 25% off right now. And you can get all that right there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up my list of what I want to talk about here over to this side. That's good. And we'll just get right into it. We're going to start with Bitcoin. We had a pretty wild move in Bitcoin recently. Big push up here in Bitcoin. Pulled back, and actually what I like about this move is that when it pulled back, it held that and started to push up as well. So nice looking little bull flag here. I may take a break of when this happens. I did have a standing order in place over these highs right here that did get triggered. Very, very small, because really, where would you put your stop loss? You'd almost have to put your stop loss down there. So it's really wide stop for me. So I took it very, very small, but I am looking to add to it as we are finally and decisively through this level right here, right? So this has been kind of a level we've been battling with for some time. We are through it. This level was these lows right here, the breakdown after the whole FTX debacle, and then highs in through here. We are clearly, decisively through that. So that's obviously a good sign. Now, could this pull back and just that be a giant fake out? Absolutely. But anything can happen in the market, and we're just trying to take our shots. I think this is a good one to take. Next, we're going to take a look here at gold. Gold is very interesting to me. It's putting in this kind of bull flag here after this massive move up. I was hoping for a pullback into this zone. We didn't get that. We got this sideways consolidation. I talked about, I took a little break of that. That was a great trade. Now I'm looking to get involved here again if we break out. That hopefully will be another good one. Again, for the reason I'll go over on the weekend, if you zoom out on gold, it looks really, really good. Silver is underperforming, but actually looking kind of good as well. It's getting that kind of pullback that I was looking to right here. So we had that breakout. Now, I in prior videos was like, man, I'd really like gold to pull back a bit and give me an entry. Might be getting that in silver. We've got a couple bottoming tails here, hit the 200-day. So this is relatively weak to gold, but holding up pretty well on this name. We got some problems with currencies. So we have the euro, which was bouncing. I was looking for a bounce on the weekly chart off of this anchored VWAP. Took a couple trades in through there. Got, I think, one good one and one bad one. So nothing really to write home about. But now it's starting to look like a bit of a bull or bear flag to me, where we can't really get going with any kind of umph. So I wouldn't be shocked if we break down and this is going to continue to lows. Now, sadly, that's going to be a bad thing for stocks, which we talk about later. It's one of the reasons that I do all of the Forex stuff. It gives me a really broad view of the world, and then I zoom into stocks, because if the dollar is rallying, which was what will happen if we see euro sell, we'll generally see a dollar rally. That's not going to be good for stocks. Same kind of thing in the pound. If you go pound, dollar, I'm seeing the same type of thing. This really can't get going off of this anchored VWAP. Had a good trade in through here, and then took another trade, which I think was break even or a small loser. And now it looks like we could sell off, which again is strength of the dollar. So that's weakness for the underlying market there. Aussie NAS. I've been playing a lot of these cross pairs recently, and I like them. Just coming up to this level right here, put in a big, big topping tail there. So I wonder if we're going to get a little bit of a rollover in Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. This to me is a cross pair that makes sense. Same with euro pound. where there are two neighboring countries that are kind of similar. So I like to trade some of these cross pairs that I've been talking about. That's an interesting one as well. And then USDCHF, the same type of thing, right? We have a bounce off of this level. Maybe this is now just a giant bull flag and we push higher. That would probably mean US dollar moving higher, which probably means stocks moving lower. Now into the overall equity market. Again, here's trade ideas. You can go to tradeaideas.com. You can use Stats Edge for 25% off at checkout. That helps support the channel. This is what I use for a lot of my look when it comes to individual stocks. This is how I scan and find all the names that I talk about with you guys. But we're going to start here with the SPY, the S&P 500. We're going to take a look at that. You can see right in here, I love this little widget that they just put in today, actually. Shows the SPY, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. Shows you kind of what the intraday chart of those looks like. But S&P 500, I think, is the major look right now. We broke under 420. 420 was the area that everyone was watching. Now, I've said this a few times on different like Twitter spaces and everything. The more an area is watched, the more BS will happen around that level. So I wouldn't be shocked if we drop a little bit lower and then we bounce through and we get all this choppiness around 420. But if we don't retake this quickly, then we have to start looking for what's next. It kind of confirms this downtrend that we're seeing here. And we have to look for what's next, right? So we've got this area that we kind of broke out of. That's about 410. And then we have this area here, which is about 400. So we have a couple areas below that we've got to watch. But yes, it's not a good sign when we've broken this major level. Again, if we retake it quickly, I think that's good. One guy that's holding on really well is good old Buffett. Is doing really, really well here. You can see the relative strength where the SPY is breaking to new lows. Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway is actually holding up okay here. It's struggling with this 340 area, but I've actually got a watch here for above 340. Now, I think Apple is a large holding for BerkB, and that is reporting early next week, so I'd have to be careful about that. But 340 around in BerkB, I think, is interesting. Last ETF that I wanted to point out is just how well the technology sector has been holding up with XLK. Again, we just looked at the SPY and how that's breaking down. XLK is actually holding up okay. So maybe this is just some sectors selling off, some sectors not. We have to keep an eye on that. We have Meta reporting now. That will make a big deal. So some individual names that I'm watching. The idea behind all of these is I'm looking for pullbacks. I want to buy pullbacks in strong names if they are going to hold, right? And that's a big if. So I want to make sure that I'm waiting for some sort of confirmation. So WSM, anchored VWAP pullback play from our anchored VWAP scan, hanging out from an anchored VWAP from this level right here, and then also from this level right here, kind of lining up in this area. So if we can get a push for Williams Sonoma, that's an interesting one. EA, Electronic Arts, same kind of thing. You draw an anchored VWAP from this low right here. It looks something like that where it's holding on to this zone. So I'm looking for a push higher in EA. Gilead, GILD. Again, a lot of these are looking the same because I'm just looking for pullback. So Gilead has a level right here that's interesting. That support right there. It's bouncing off that. It also has an anchored VWAP from the low. I'm looking for both of those to come into play. Same with Novo, which is, I think, the whole Ozempic thing, I think, is going on here. NVO. And if you draw an anchored VWAP from this major turning point where the buyers took control, it looks something like that. So above this area right here, I think that's a good risk-reward play on NVO. And lastly is Kava. I also like to use these anchored VWAPs in order to find reversals. I don't trade reversals very much. I generally try to stick with the trend. Kava, IPOs, these things are interesting to kind of grab these from. So we have this low right here and an anchored VWAP that looks like that. So if we can get over this area, maybe this signifies that this is a bit of the low and we want to come retest the IPO price, who knows? But that's just some names I have on watch. That's what I'm looking at for midweek this week. I will say I'm very much in a mode of let's wait and see. Let's hang out. Let's not go crazy. Let's not try to pick the top or pick the bottom or anything like that. You don't have to trade all the time, especially as us swing traders. I do think there's going to be a lot of BS around this 420 level. So my way to trade around that and to get around that is to say, okay, I'm going to trade a little smaller. I'm going to just pick a couple levels on some things that I like. I'm going to wait for the market to show its hand one way or the other. So again, I may have some short videos coming up on Thursday and Friday if I see anything of interest. If not, the big long video that I do every weekend where we zoom out and look at weekly charts, I think will be very interesting this week. So wherever you are, wherever you're seeing this, follow, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff to tell the algorithm you want to see more. And I may see you tomorrow, but if not, I will definitely see you guys over the weekend.